أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهد له فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد يا معشر المسلمين. As we want to remind ourselves with a tremendous reminder, and this reminder that we want to remind ourselves with is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did not create his servants in vain. He did not leave his servants to themselves. Many from mankind think that they are just going to live and die without any accountability. There's no talking during the Jumu'ah khutbah. Jazakumullah khair. Many from mankind, they think that they are just going to live and die without any accountability. They say we only live one time. We only live once. We only live one life. Live it up to the fullest. You find these statements from the people, you only live one time. Live it up to the fullest. So they party and they drink and they waste their life away with the hopes of going to paradise without striving and struggling to get there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he mentions in his book, أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَبَثًا. Did you think that we created you in play? Did you think we created you just to play around? As Ibn Kathir rahimahullah ta'ala, he explains this verse. Did you think that you were created in vain, without no purpose, with nothing required of you, and no wisdom on our parts? Or it was said that's in play. Did we create you just to play around? Did we create you just to waste time? Did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create you just to party, just to drink, just to eat? But rather, ya ayyuhan nas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he created the human being for a purpose. So it was said, and this is another meaning, or it is meant to play and amuse yourself like the animals was created. They have no reward, no punishment, meaning the animals. But you were created to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to carry out his commands. So Allah created us for the purpose of the tawheed, to single Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala out in all forms of worship, and to obey his commandments, and to stay away from that which he has prohibited. This is what the servant has been created for, ya ayyuha al-ikhwa. وقال جل وعلا في كتابه الكريم أيحسب الإنسان أن يترك سدى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he mentions in another verse, in another surah, في سورة القيامة, Allah, he mentions, does man think that we will neglect him? Does man think that he will be neglected and left alone without any accountability? So it is mentioned as Fu'di. He said, meaning, does man think So this ayat, it includes both the meanings. This means that he will not be left neglected in this worldly life without being commanded and prohibited. And he also will be not neglected. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold the individual accountable. You are responsible, ya ayyuhan nas, for your deeds. You are responsible, you will be questioned, ya ayyuhal ikhwa. Many of the people just live their life as if they are not going to be questioned, as if there's no accountability. He also will not be neglected in his grave. The brothers, please move up, inshallah. For those brothers that may be coming in, and they may need room, inshallah ta'ala, but move up, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So it is mentioned, as stated by Ibn Kathir, rahimahullah ta'ala, أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. Do you think that we created you without any purpose, and that you would not be brought back to us? As Sa'di rahimahullah, he mentions, أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَيْ هَلْ تَنْظُرُ أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ. Do you think, or did you think, meaning that it is, do you think that we created you in vain? Did you think that we created you with no purpose? So that the individual can eat and drink, and have fun, and enjoy the pleasures of this world. And we leave you alone without any commandments and prohibitions, and without rewards or punishments. And never did this ever cross the person's mind. Never did this ever cross the person's mind. All individuals want to do is party, is eat and drink and sleep, and do the same thing every day, and think that there's not going to be any accountability. Naam ya ayyuhan nas. So for this reason, my brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to have taqwa of him, to have fear of him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to prepare for this day, to prepare for the day of resurrection, to prepare for this day of standing. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة. O mankind, have taqwa of your Lord, who created you from a single soul. He created you from a single person. Have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fear your Lord Jalla wa ala, because we are going to stand in front of him. Prepare for this enormous day. Prepare for this judgment. Ya ayyuhan nas. Wa qala Jalla wa ala. وَتَنْظُرُ النَّفْسُ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ. وَتَنْظُرُ النَّفْسُ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ. And let every person look to what he has prepared. Let every person look to what he has sent forth for tomorrow. Let every person do some inspection on himself. Let every person look at himself and see what deeds he has put forth for tomorrow. Is it good deeds that the person has put forth? Or is it sayyi'at? Is it sins? Is it a mountain of sins? Naam ya ayyuhan nas. At-taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something that is imperative for every Muslim to acquire. Not to just live your life. And not to just say, oh, I prayed today. Or I went to the masjid today. Naam, that's good. Hada sahih. Hada jayyid. This is all good. But we need to do some inspection on ourselves. We need to, do some real deep inspection on ourselves and clean up those misdeeds that we have put forth for tomorrow before we are judged. أقول هذا القول أستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق يظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إقرارا به توحيدا. أما بعد يا معشر المسلمين. So the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which pertains to obeying what Allah has commanded and staying away from what he has forbade, meaning hold yourself accountable before you are held accountable, before you are recompensed, and contemplate what you have kept yourself of good deeds for the day of return. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم إن الله خبير بما تعملون. Really, Allah is all aware of what you do. Really, Allah is all aware of what you do. Allah asserts that surely he knows all of your deeds, O mankind. And your actions, nothing that pertains to you ever escape Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his observation. situation, nor any matters of yours, whether major or minor, is ever beyond his knowledge. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has knowledge of all things. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-alim. That he knows all things. Ya ayyuhan nas. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Ittaqur rabbakum. Oh mankind. Ya ayyuhan nas. Oh mankind. Ittaqur rabbakum. Fear your Lord Jalla wa ala. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتَنْظُرُ النَّفْسُ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And let every person look to what he has set forth for tomorrow. Meaning the day of standing, the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, the day of Hisab. Whether the person has abused a person, has oppressed a person, has took a right of an individual, has stole something from a person, has backbitten the person. It is time for you to do some inspection on that. It is time for you to make some islah. Islah fi qalbi. Islah fi qalbi ya ayyuhan nas. Do some inspection on your hearts. Rectify your hearts. It is time for us to rectify our situation. Rectify our situation. Whether if a person has stole something from someone, have backbitten someone, have took the right of the individual. It is time for us to rectify that, to make islah. If you have wronged someone, you go to the person and you say, "Ya akhi, I have said this about you. May you forgive me. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me." In all of the affairs as it pertains to rectification, as we need a rectification as an ummah, to restore the izzah of the ummah, to restore the might and the honor of the ummah amongst the Muslims. Because you see that the Muslims is divided. Because you see that the Muslims are arguing and bickering. Because you see that the Muslims cannot trust one another. Naam ya ayyuhan nas. It is upon us to rectify, to take accountability, and to not point the finger. To not point the finger. This one did this one did that. No, we as a ummah, as a nation, as a jama'ah, we are held responsible. We are held accountable. Naam ya ayyuhan nas. So this is a reminder that we want to remind ourselves with the consciousness of Allah, with the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the preparation that we must have in standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rectify us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us to rectify our own selves. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala restore the honor, the izzah in the ummah of Islam, the ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. أقول هذا القول أستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم وسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة. قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استووا تراصوا. Make sure that the mind is straight. Fill in the gaps, inshallah. Fill the gaps and don't leave any room for the shaitan. استووا تراصوا.